Hi IMS, welcome to Backyard Science. This week we're going to be studying one of our last units on biomes, which are habitats and ecosystems around the world that incorporate a lot of things. So we're going to be studying that, and I thought it'd be neat to incorporate the bones. So this is called Bones and Biomes, and if you remember, the Carnegie Museum lent us these boxes down below. So Leigh, if you pan down below, those are our loan program boxes, and we were able to start that. But what I did was I tried to pull out about 10 skulls from those boxes that maybe we could talk about and talk about where they are in the world and just talk about some really neat features. I wish you could get your hands on them, but I thought this was the next best thing to do this video and make this video as well. So we're going to start with number 1, and we'll go all the way up to 10 and try to make a guessing game out of it and see where they live in the world. All right, so here we are at number 1. If you remember, we had boxes of these at school. And I made this one pretty easy for those of you that remember what this bone was. And if you remember, the back attachment was here. So it had a real streamlined head, and it went all the way back like this. So take your guess at number 1 here. It is a mammal found in Pennsylvania. It has some sharp teeth, so it has a lot of different kinds of teeth. We probably would think it was an omnivore. And that's one of the things you can do is try to guess what each one of these is going to be. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is a really neat one. You got to really think about this one too. One of the things we did when we looked at this skull was we really looked at the nasal cavity. So we noticed that this animal has a really strong sense of smell. You can see it's kind of flat teeth. So what does that tell you about its flat teeth? And it has kind of 2 straight incisors here that are really, really sharp, kind of coming down too. So that's number 2. I would say that, remember that, you know, there may be some things kind of coming out of it too. So don't just think about the skull, think about everything that's around it. Number 3 is a really neat one. Looks like a human skull, doesn't it? So that kind of gives you a little clue as to what this creature might be. Has the lower expandable jaw, has a lot of different kinds of teeth, really big eye sockets. So this animal had some really nice big eyes and a nice big nose. But very human-like. It is not a human skull, it's a mammal. And think about where that animal might be in the world as well. All right, let's move on to number 4. Number 4, I kind of put these off to the side because, as you can see, this is kind of a neat kind of part there. You can see how their teeth kind of go together. They have a really big eye socket once again, a real kind of flat head, but it looks like they do some serious chewing here when you look at number 4. So take a guess at number 4. What do you think number 4 might be? Number 5 is an even bigger one. And this one definitely is even heavier in my hands, and you can see the teeth have worn down, kind of flat. But this is really neat. Looks like it's missing part of the bone too, as we go through and kind of take both of these jaw pieces. But you can see how this animal would have chewed with that. Look at that eye socket. Has a real flat head too. That's why it's kind of nice sometimes to be able to see some of these kind of up close and personal as well. All right, so we're up to number 6 now. I have Leigh is going to be helping us manipulate these just to get a better look at those. So you can see kind of a side view of this animal. It has kind of a side view, like a silhouetted side snout that kind of comes up. Open it up there, Leigh. You can see its teeth and the jaw as well. So that's number 6. So take a guess at number 6. What do you think that might be? It is a mammal as well. All right, let's move to number 7, one of my favorites here. Now, hold that one sideways, Leah. This is number 7 is a mammal that you would see. Move it up a little closer to the number, Leigh, and then just kind of open up its jaw. You'll see the teeth here. The teeth here just have that, as far as that, the same kind of teeth on both sides. So as you can see it going both sides, that's that jaw line as well, and it has a nice big eye sockets as well. So good, Leigh, put number 7 down. All right, Aaron's going to be holding up 8, 9, and 10 since these are the bigger skulls. Aaron, if you just want to put that one on its side, you'll notice this one right here is missing its bottom jaw. So there should be a jaw kind of sticking out. Hold it right there, Aaron. There should be a jaw sticking right in here like this. So that would be like a jaw. So you can imagine this creature's missing its bottom jaw. But you can see how big of the the skull this is compared to the other skulls. Put that down flat, Aaron. And you can just see the nose cavity. Look at that nose cavity. So you notice that animal really has a good sense of smell. It has a good sense of sight. It has a nice big protective skull on it. Look at that one compared to number 9 though. Very similar. Also missing its, you can pick that up, Aaron, go ahead. Also missing its bottom jaw, but you can see it's a lot bigger than number 8, but very, very similar in structure. Got to put that one down, Aaron. We want to see them kind of side by side. You can see how this one's just a little bit bigger in size and shape than this one as well. And then we're going to our last one, number 10. This is our granddaddy of them all. Be real careful with this one here. Aaron and Alea are both going to help with this one. You can see how they kind of fit together. This one's missing its, kind of some of its teeth, but you can see how big of a gap it is. Be real careful with that one, Aaron. You can see, and turn it over a little bit, Aaron, so that you can see the front. Look at that nose cavity, and you could see how that could be a real carnivorous creature, a big, big mammal that has a real big bone structure as well. So take a guess at number 10 as well. So those are all 10 of the bones there, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go through each one and talk about each one and give you the answers. So number 1, we said, was the American mink, and if you remember, we did the mink skulls. It has that real elongated head and a flat body, and you can see its eyes, and one of the keys that we used in class was where were its eyes pointing, and they were pointing straight out, so that meant that this was kind of a bottom dweller. So hopefully you got that one right, the American mink for number 1. All right, number 2, this was probably one of the tougher ones. This was a jackrabbit. This is actually a rabbit skull. Now if you imagine the ears, kind of the bunny ears, going up like that, but you can really see its nose cavity and kind of how its bottom jaw meets the top jaw, and it has those kind of flat teeth that make it a vegetarian. You know, make it an herbivore. All right, let's go to number 3. Answer to number 3 is a capuchin monkey. So think about where that habitat, where that monkey would be. A really, really neat one. You could see why some of the primate skulls are so close to the human skulls based on the capuchin monkey and how its skull looks. So if you got that one right, it wasn't a human skull, that's a capuchin monkey. All right, number 4 is an animal that we actually find in Pennsylvania, and this is a woodchuck. Small little woodchuck there, very similar to the rabbit, but you could see the flat head of the woodchuck, and you know, you can kind of imagine the woodchuck's mouth kind of going around that. So how much wood can a woodchuck chuck? All right, number 5 is one of the neat ones that I thought were there. This is a real heavy bone, and this is a beaver. It's actually missing its front incisors too as well. The front of the teeth there, but you can see how the beaver's skull would look kind of there as well. So that's kind of really neat to see the beaver skull right there. All right, we're up to giving the answer to number 6. Aaron, you want to take a guess? What do you think this one is? Kind of have that sharp teeth on the side. What do you think, Leah?
Maybe.
Guess?
I don't think so.
It's actually something that we've had probably in the backyard a few times. This is a red fox. So it's a fox. So imagine that's kind of a
I thought it would be like a canine.
Yeah, yeah. All right, moving on to this one. Now, this one was a tricky one, and this was number 7. This is a domesticated animal. You'll notice the teeth are all the same. Who wants to take a guess at that? What do you think?
Is it a deer?
No, that's close. Leah, you want to guess? This would be kind of a farm animal. This is a
horse.
Yeah, domestic goat. This is a goat, but you can see how big the skull is as well. All right, as we move down, this one right here, this is number 8. Huge skull. You can see and remember the bottom jaw is missing it. This is one mammal that's found in Pennsylvania, one of the biggest predators. This is a black bear from Pennsylvania. So that'll kind of give you a hint as to what the last 3 are if this is our black bear from Pennsylvania. Let's move down to number 9, a bigger animal, very, very similar, but a lot wider, a lot thicker. Any guess what that one would be, guys?
Brown bear or black bear?
You're close. It's a grizzly bear. Grizzly bear.
Is that brown?
Yeah. And then the last one.
It's a polar bear!
Yeah, the big polar bear, number 10. That's our polar bear skull, which is really rare to have, really neat. You can see it's missing both kind of its top teeth and bottom teeth, but just an amazing creature, and you know, one of the things that we need to do to protect them as well. And it's really awesome that the Carnegie Museum has these available for us. So thanks to the Carnegie Museum for allowing us to use the bones. Thanks to Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. And thanks to Alea. We appreciate it. Have a great week, everybody.